Welcome to CrossTech World. It is my pleasure and honor to receive José Interiano from Mastercard to be part of our interviews today. At CrossTech, we've been focused on innovation, payment solutions, and really delivering value to cross-border payments. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be part of the interview, José.
No, thank you for having me here.
It's our pleasure. I would love for you to tell a little bit our audience about you, your background, and how do you come across being part of the CrossTech community and also cross-border payments?
So I've been working in payments my whole life and in this past year in Mastercard. And what we do is that we power money movement solutions for different use cases. Be it remittances, be it business payments, be it other types of transfers, both domestic and cross-border. But of course, cross-border is the one where we have the most challenges. So our business is separate than the cardholder to merchant traditional business of Mastercard, and we're growing very rapidly in that space.
Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about small and medium enterprises. How do you see their impact in the cross-border payment industry?
So something very interesting that we saw, we did a study last year on SMEs in particular, and we interviewed almost 2,000 SMEs across LAC, and they told us two very interesting things. One is more than half of them were doing more international business, saying more suppliers internationally or employees, even with these gig working platforms. They were doing more international business than the year before. And about 70% said, and I plan to do even more of that next year. So a lot of companies that were sourcing their inputs through distributors are going to direct importing of those. They're sourcing talent abroad. And SMEs are increasingly more active in the cross-border space.
And when we talk about increases actively, a big theme for us is partnerships. And I think through SMEs and also cross-border payment, that's a big role that it plays. How do you see partnerships within the Mastercard Movement program and also the cross-border space? How do you see that? And is there any particular partnership that highlighted your attention in the LAC that you want to mention?
Sure. We are a B2B2B or a B2B2C company. So the only way we make business is through partnerships. One thing that we also found in that survey was that 2 out of 5 SMEs that we interviewed had a problem, a significant problem with their cross-border payments in the past 12 months. Something like they sent the payment and the payment got stuck, or less money arrived, things like that. So when we are looking for partners to solve those pain points, we build the network, the partners build the experience. So we are partnering with several companies that are focusing specifically on SME, not only in payments, but also provide the full suite of services, credit. So they offer SME credit card that is Mastercard branded, or they offer an SME debit card that is Mastercard branded, but they also have, as part of the overall value proposition of serving that SME, they have the cross-border payments experience as well. That is different and that is novel and that doesn't have all of the traditional rail problems, because the traditional rail is was more designed for corporates that has more payment expertise.
And I really enjoy that our topic today is business payments. I don't know if you know this, but last year for us, a lot of the P2P players were entering that space for a long time. And that's why within CrossTech, we launched a new conference that talks about business payment only, is separate from the P2P remittances. So tell me a little bit about what is your priority within the business payment space. I know a lot of the players that I've talked to during the conference have mentioned, scalability, high volume, especially also for SMEs that didn't have that capability before to do those payments to bigger and bigger corridors. So what is the priority right now within your business unit?
So in the traditional normally you had two traditional rails. You had where most of the business payments went through like the correspondent banking segment and all of that. And you had like the P2P rail that was mostly used for remittances. Both of those rails are not fit for purpose when you think SME. So what we did is we built a different rail. We built a rail that is fit for specifically those types of low to mid value payments. In the P2P, you mostly process 0 to 1,000. In the big B2B ones, you process 100,000 and above, millions of dollars. So we built rails that are specifically for mid value payments, 15,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. And those are the rails that we are deploying right now in LAC, and those are those bring the value proposition that these companies need, and the partners that are taking advantage of those, I think, are going to have a very particular edge in the future when it comes to serving this segment.
For us, last year, business payment was the future. So what's next? Like now, we're focusing on in CrossTech business payments and fintech, and then we're also brainstorming with new big players in the market like yourself to see what else should we be thinking about as a CrossTech community outside of business payments, outside of fintechs, and outside of innovation. Is there anything on your mind for the future?
I think the future of business payments is end-to-end experience. So normally in the P2P space, you would need reach, cost, speed, basically. When it comes to business payments, you need those three, but you also need some sort of reliability.
Yes.
That is more acute than in person-to-person payments. And you also need some experience elements, like ability to do reconciliation, to understand who made this payment and for what, that are different than a P2P. And embedding those things into the whole payment experience, I think is the future of what we are going to be doing. And a second thing that I think is going to be massive is more automated supply chain finance technologies. So taking all of these payables and receivables from these companies and making them more liquid as the technology allows us to register better all of those flows.
Great. Tell us a little bit about CrossTech. What has been your experience so far, and what are you looking forward to?
CrossTech, I think, is one of those few venues where the traditional P2P industry, the fintechs, and the traditional also B2B industry are converging. So I love the networking. I love the people that come, are relevant, are knowledgeable. We come here to find partners and to meet with partners. And I think it's one of those rare venues where you can fish in a barrel when it comes to finding good partners and networking with people that matter.
Thank you for joining us on this interview. We're looking forward to seeing you again at CrossTech. Welcome to our interview, and we appreciate you following us. Please follow us at CrossTech World 2024 and #CrossTech Payments. Thank you.